Exactly 17 after 8 o'clock, and we do apologize for the bit of a shaky start that we've had this morning, but we are battling with some technical issues. Inshallah, we're just waiting for our technician. He is on way, and we'll try and sort all of those issues out, and it's going to be smooth sailing from here on. And undoubtedly, after we chat with our first guest, and that, of course, is political analyst Levy Ndou, to talk to us about the ANC MPs that have been sworn in. What are the implications for you and I as ordinary South African citizens while all of this drama plays out? Is it going to make a difference in our lives? What does it say about the ANC itself? Levi, a very good morning to you. Welcome to the program.
Good morning to you, Julie. Good morning to the viewers at home.
Okay. Let me start by saying this. We know that Deputy President Paul Mashatile has been sworn in, as has a few others, but they seem to be refusing to be drawn into any sort of discussions at all. And I'm kind of wondering why. They owe it to you and I and the rest of South Africa to answer to the questions that we have topmost on our minds. I'm also thinking that the reshuffling of these positions have come rather late in the day. Once again, it indicates to us that Cyril Ramaphosa is a very indecisive leader, or perhaps he's having to get the thumbs up from the rest of his cadres. We're not quite sure what's happening behind the scenes. What is this situation telling us as South Africans, and of course other political opposition parties?
Good morning again. I think there are a few factors that we need to look at. The first factor is that there is anxiety generally in South Africa about the changes or expected changes in cabinet. And at the same time, all of us expect decisions to be taken very fast because we want to see those changes happening. But I think there are processes that we appear to be ignoring. The first factor is that the ANC had its conference towards the end of December last year. And ever since they had a conference, even though they had other activities, the ANC never had a meeting to take crucial decisions. Number two, the appointment or the election rather of Paul Mashatile to be the deputy president of the ANC paves a way for him to become the deputy president of the Republic, especially when David Mabuza has not been elected into the leadership of the party. Now, for President Ramaphosa to change his cabinet, there are processes that have to be followed. The first process, in my view, is that he must have a discussion with his comrades in the ANC, and which is something that only had to happen in January. Another process is the government process, wherein members of parliament have to be sworn in first before Ramaphosa could make changes to his cabinet. And of course, that required us, with our anxiety, to unfortunately exercise some form of patience, which we do not have. Now, I think the moment now is futile, much fertile for Ramaphosa to change his cabinet because all those processes appears to have been satisfied. Another element that we need to look at is that when Fikile Mbalula was elected Secretary General of the ANC in December, he spoke very openly about how members of the ANC are supposed to behave in terms of how they approach or talk to the media. And I think that is why everybody else is saying it is only the president who must make this announcement or make these pronouncements, because nobody is at the right space to do so. And I think that is why we hear answers that we did not expect from David Mabuza, from Paul Mashatile, and all those others that were sworn in, because it is the president who must, at the end of the day, make the last announcement about cabinet reshufflement.
Let's just stick with Fikile Mbalula for a minute or two. He's been very vociferous in the media. He's been making all sorts of statements and pronouncements as far as the ANC is concerned and going forward. What do you make of that? Is he just taking, the opportunity and running with it because he's been given the space and he's trying to make himself heard and trying to convey that he is the top dog for now? Are things going to change going forward? Because he's holding two portfolios currently. What will the change look like if it does happen?
My view is that when it comes to Fikile Mbalula, it is very clear that he is actually going to leave government, because it's, in my view, supposed to be full-time at the ANC's head office. Fikile Mbalula, in my view, it's one person who appears to have been very much ready to become the Secretary General. He appears to have identified a number of gaps and challenges within the ANC and is rushing to correct such. One of the areas that appear to be problematic in the ANC, in my view, has been seeing the ANC speaking in different languages, or leaders of the ANC speaking in different languages. And that is where Mbalula started coming in very clearly to say, not in the ANC. The ANC should speak one coherent message which does not conflict, and equally, the message should be communicated in the most simplest terms, and it should not have any elements of contradictions. And I think that is one area that Mbalula is actually coming up to deal with. Equally, he appears to be saying that the people who are supposed to be given responsibilities to speak on matters of the party should actually do so and not speak on their own behalf, but they speak representing the party, so that the message has to go out to the people very clearly. And that is exactly what you need in a political party, so that cohesion and unity should actually be very clear, and an ordinary onlooker should not be confused by the message that comes from the party.
Okay, let's move back to Mashatile and Mabuza. We understand that Mashatile is expected to take over from the Deputy President, David Mabuza, who has heightened speculation at the weekend when he confirmed that he had resigned. Mabuza is saying that this is in preparation for Mashatile to take over from him as Deputy President following his election at Nasrec. And he refuses to be drawn on whether there would be a cabinet reshuffle. What do we make of all of that? And also, he went on to say that Ramaphosa has not yet briefed the top 7 of the ANC on the changes in his national executive. Very much to your first response to my initial questions, isn't it?
Indeed. This is diplomacy, in my view, political diplomacy, in the sense that, as indicated by Mbalula, people that are given certain responsibilities should be the ones who actually speak on those matters. But equally, if you look at the Constitution of the Republic of South Africa, the president is given powers to appoint cabinet and no one else. So I think on the basis of that, these politicians are doing their best not to speak or indicate what might happen, because they know that such is the competency of the President of the Republic. And I think that is why they are saying, everything has to be communicated by the president. It might be frustrating on our part. It might also deepen the anxiety that we have. But in the interest of discipline and political diplomacy, they would not venture into that space because that is the area that requires the president to make a pronouncement.
Uh, Finally, let's look at the issue around Mashatile. He's being very, very defensive as far as the role of an MP is concerned. He goes on to say that he was Minister of Arts and Culture between 2010 and 2014 during Zuma's tenure. And in 2017, he was elected Treasurer General. And at the last conference in December, he was elected Deputy President. Uh, he said he is or was an MP. I've been deployed as an MP. I've done it before. And I can obviously fulfill those obligations. Why is he making all of those statements? Almost as if to convince the public or the powers that be that he is able to deliver.
Indeed. I think what he's trying to do, in my view, is to remind South Africans that he is actually not a new person in government. There are people who might have forgotten that Paul Mashatile has been the premier of Gauteng before. And because in the political life, time moves very fast. Of course, some might have forgotten that at some stage he was a minister at national level. But I think he is equally saying, I am not a new person in national politics. He has got a good understanding of the dynamics in parliament or at national government, including in the executive. So my view is that he appears to be someone who is anxiously waiting to be appointed deputy president of the republic. Whether the announcement has been made or not, it is quite clear that the only person that David Mabuza could pave way for could be Paul Mashatile, on the basis of the fact that he is the deputy president of the ANC and is more senior to all four other members who have been sworn in yesterday in parliament. So we just have to wait for the formal announcement to be made. But I can assure you that Paul Mashatile appears to be heading towards the deputy presidency of the republic.
Okay, finally, I'm sure you've picked up on these rumors as well. We're hearing pretty serious rumors that Ramaphosa may not end his term. He won't even probably see in the 2024 elections, that he will be stepping down or maybe forced to step down even before then. What on earth is happening within the ranks of the ANC that these type of rumors are doing the rounds? And it can be very damaging for him, can it not?
Well, there are many factors that has to be looked at. Firstly, there are still issues that are pending surrounding President Ramaphosa. And if the findings of the investigations that are coming might not be favorable, Phala in particular, might not be favorable for the president, he will obviously have to step aside or resign. Another aspect that informs this narrative would be that at the time when former President Jacob Zuma had to be removed from the presidency, it was Paul Mashatile who made that announcement that now the ANC has taken a decision to remove Jacob Zuma from office. And I think people are looking at it based on the boldness that Paul Mashatile showed at the time when Jacob Zuma had to be removed from the leadership of the ANC. Equally, everybody, Julie, who is in politics aspire to lead. And in my view, Paul Mashatile might be saying, every little mistake that might happen that puts Ramaphosa in a disadvantaged position, he will take advantage of that, and obviously he might then become the president of the republic. And I think the reading of that situation is quite correct.
Okay, very interesting space. We're going to watch it very closely and obviously talk with you again sometime in the near future. Dr. Levy Ndou, always a pleasure having you on the show. Always a pleasure listening to your analysis on all of these issues as they play out. God bless. Thank you. Take care and go well.
You're always welcome. Thank you so much.
It is exactly 8:33, standing by to talk to us in a minute or two. We will be joined by Masiha Salucci. We're going to cross over to Syria to talk about the disaster of the region, the disaster playing out in that region, the earthquakes in Turkey, southern Turkey and northern Syria. And we also believe that the implications are very, very far reaching. The tremors were felt in Lebanon and also in Cyprus. So we'll get an update on all of that with, inshallah, Masiha Salucci.